Stop everything. There is an unspoken language all around you, and you are already built to hear it. What if I told you your life could change the moment you begin to understand those whispers? Imagine a world where you effortlessly understand the unspoken signals around you, sensing truth and falsehood, opportunity and danger before anyone else. Your intuition is already sending you these powerful, energetic cues, but most people miss them entirely. Get ready to unlock this incredible inner power as we guide you through recognizing and interpreting the subtle, energetic language that can transform your decisions and your life. This is not fanciful mysticism or wishful thinking. In a world of constant alerts, data, and distraction, we have traded subtle sensing for louder, faster inputs, and the ancient way of knowing has been dimmed. Yet beneath every headline and every notification, there is a quieter intelligence, an inner sensory system that speaks through images, tones, bodily nudges, and sudden clarity. Intuition's language, decoding subtle energetic cues, is about learning to listen again, not as an abstract spiritual achievement, but as a daily tool that keeps you safer, wiser, and more aligned with what truly matters. Think of it this way. Your mind has two modes. One reacts, fast, alarmed, playing patterns from the past. The other listens, soft, curious, present to emerging information that cannot be captured in words. Today, most of us live in reaction, mistaking loud emotion for truth. But the listening mind sends you impressions. A flash of an image in the mind's eye, a tone that sits behind a sentence, a pressure in the chest, a looseness in the gut. These are not random. They are data, subtle and specific. You have felt them. That sudden certainty before accepting a job, the quiet hesitation that kept you out of harm's way, a dream that nudged you toward a choice. Those were messages in a language you already know at a basic level. If you stay with me, you will learn to notice the smallest of these signs and to translate them into practical guidance. We will walk through what intuition looks like in ordinary life, choosing between lovers, reading a room before you speak, following a creative impulse at work, or simply sensing whether a door will open for you. You will see how bodily sensations, emotions, and the first line of thought carry meaningful information, not as mystical prophecy, but as a subtle sensory system waiting to be refined. Before we move deeper, take a moment. Subscribe and like if you feel called. This community is a place to remember your innate capacity. If you're willing, say quietly now, I choose to awaken my consciousness. Keep that phrase close. It will anchor you as you practice. There are hidden secrets ahead. Techniques, small practices, and surprising reframes that will strengthen your inner antenna. But first, soften your posture and imagine the world where the murmur of your own knowing becomes clear. What does that first whisper sound like to you right now? The silent whispers, awakening consciousness. Have you ever walked into a place and, before a single word is spoken, felt a small, undeniable knowing settle in your chest or at the base of your skull? Intuition is not a poetic afterthought. It is a subtle sensory system tuned to energetic information. Think of it as an inner antenna that receives impressions as images, tones, body sensations, or sudden clarity. Signals so quiet, they're often mistaken for mood or coincidence. Most of us live in the automatic, reactive mind. Hurry, judge, respond. But there is another mode, the listening mind, that waits like a calm shore for the smallest wave to arrive and learns its language. Picture a simple scene. You pause on a city sidewalk, and the world narrows to a single detail: a color, a tone, a flash of memory. That small impression is intuition saying, "Notice this." On camera, we can make this tangible. Imagine a slow close-up of your face as you inhale. The ambient tone, a soft, low hum. The screen briefly fades to a single symbolic image that arrives unannounced. This is the moment we teach you to honor. Your body, emotions, and thoughts are conveyors of data. A tightness in the solar plexus may be the body's shorthand for discomfort, while a sudden warm ripple across the chest often signals alignment or yes. Thoughts can arrive like breadcrumbs, a clear, unusual idea that insists gently, not with panic. Emotions color those signals. Sorrow might be a clearing rather than a derailment. Excitement can be an invitation. Synchronicities, those timely repetitions, are the universe nodding in the margins. Physical nudges, goosebumps, a chill, loosening at the jaw, are vocabulary. Sudden clarity, when options rearrange themselves with an inner awe, is grammar. Now, let me guide you through a small, live demonstration you can do on camera with me. First, sit comfortably and close your eyes. Soft ambient tones underlay the scene. Slow close-ups focus on the rise and fall of breath. Begin a 2-minute body scan. Whisper to yourself the name of each sensation as it appears. Pressure here, warmth here, breath here. Notice the difference between labeling and fixing. You're simply becoming a translator for what the body already knows. Next, we'll try a brief breath hold noticing exercise to catch first impressions. Instruct viewers to inhale gently, hold for a natural pause, not straining, and, as they hold, notice the first mental image, word, or sensation that surfaces. Release the breath and observe without judgment. The first thing is often the most honest. Later thoughts layer commentary. Finally, invite them to a single image journaling practice. Ask them to write in one sentence the first visual or phrase that appeared during the breath hold. Over the next day, they track small correspondences, a text, a chance meeting, a sudden insight, and simply mark whether the image nudged toward truth. This creates a gentle feedback loop that trains trust. Visually, use slow breathing close-ups, soft candlelight, or morning window glow. Written prompts on screen for the exercises, and a quiet ambient score that leaves space for silence. Sound cues should be minimal. A low drone for scanning, a single bell for the breath hold, pages turning for the journaling moment. Curiosity and patient attention are the gardeners of this faculty. Tend to these small habits, and the silent whispers will become a language you not only hear, but understand. As you begin to recognize these impressions, what is the next subtle center that leans forward to meet them? The pineal is less a lone gland and more a soft, listening doorway, a translator that turns subtle energy into images, tastes, sensations, and sudden knowing. When you slow down, you see your body, emotions, and thoughts already speak that language. They only need attention to become clear. Think of it as a small weather station at the center of your head. It doesn't predict the future so much as sense possibilities. Warmth where trust ripples, a metallic taste when danger brushes past, a quick inner picture when a right choice aligns. These impressions come through 3 channels: the body, tingles, lightness, pressure; emotions, a lift or tightening; and thoughts, a crisp image or phrase that feels like it arrived from outside you. Vivid dreams, random flashes of color, behind closed eyes, or sudden gentle feelings are signs that inner sensor is active. Support this sensing gently with small habits. Start each day with 5 minutes of focused breathing while resting attention at the soft center of your forehead. Breathe slowly and deeply. Each inhale draws light to that point. Each exhale releases tension. Let your forehead be curious and patient. A simple practice to steady inner vision is soft candle gazing. Sit comfortably with a small flame at eye level. Rest your gaze on the flame without strain for 1 to 3 minutes. When you close your eyes, don't chase impressions. Simply observe the afterimage as it comes, like a note in a symphony, rather than a problem to solve. Sound opens another doorway. Hum a long, resonant with your mouth closed and feel the vibration in your skull. Use ambient tones that encourage alpha or gentle theta states. Tracks for relaxed focus, not overstimulation. These sounds don't confer power. They create a hospitable environment for subtle impressions to surface. Small lifestyle choices are fertile soil. Regular sleep, a few minutes of morning sunlight on your face, and reduced screen noise quiet outer static so inner cues can be heard. Think of it as tuning a radio. You don't amplify a weak signal by shouting. You reduce interference. Try this short invitation. Settle comfortably, close your eyes, and take 3 slow breaths. Bring attention to the small point between your eyebrows. Picture a tiny, cool ember there, merely aware. With each inhale, draw soft indigo light into it. With each exhale, let it pulse and settle. Notice any color, taste, image, or mood shift without analyzing. After 60 to 90 seconds, place hands on your thighs, wiggle your fingers, feel your weight, open your eyes slowly, and sip water. Be cautious with intensity. If you feel head pressure, strong dizziness, or overwhelming emotion, return to grounding, feet on the floor, hands on your belly, long, gentle breaths. Extreme practices aren't needed and can be harmful. Sensitivity is a gift, not something to force. The twist, the third eye, isn't a separate power to earn. It's a name for the everyday way your life already guides you. The work is accepting small impressions as valid data and responding with curiosity rather than judgment. Stop and listen. Your inner radio will say the next thing. Why we miss these signals in busy, data-driven lives, raising vibration and reconnection practices. The louder your world gets, the quieter your intuition becomes, until you learn to listen under the noise. You have been trained to respond quickly. Inboxes must be emptied, calendars filled, answers delivered. That speed becomes a habit of attention, a reflex that squeezes out the gentler language your deeper senses use. Imagine your intuition as a delicate radio signal trying to come through a crowded city of neon signs and blasting speakers. It isn't weak. It's simply inaudible beside the hysteria. This is not a personal failing. For many who have carried long nights, grief, or the sharp edges of survival, your nervous system learned to blur subtleties in order to cope. The twist most seekers miss is this. Those very defenses that kept you alive can now be retuned into allies, allowing the same system to become exquisitely sensitive rather than overprotective. Start by seeing distraction as the primary veil. Chronic alerts, perpetual urgency, numbing habits, and the habit of thinking through everything erase the small signals. A sudden clarity when meeting someone. The way a thought arrives like a ripple in your chest. The subtle cooling of the tongue that precedes truth. Raising your vibration here doesn't mean flashy ceremonies or forced positivity. It means lowering the background noise and refining your instrument, your body, your breath, your attention, so tiny cues register again. Practice simple, humble rituals that ask little but return much. Each morning, carve 3 silent minutes where your phone stays off, your eyes close, and you breathe with gentle counting. Treat this like a sacred appointment with the stillness inside. In the evenings, create sensory hygiene. Dim screens an hour before sleep, soften lights, and let your senses relax from constant demand. When you walk, notice the earth beneath your feet. Even a footbridge, a carpet, a patch of grass can become a teacher. Feeling 5 different textures reconnects your nervous system to subtle sensation. Keep a small gratitude and sync journal. Record 3 tiny moments where something intuitive touched you. A sudden nudge, a dream fragment, a coincidence, and watch patterns emerge over a week. These notes become proof that you are not imagining things. They are data your intuition lays down. There is a practice you can do now to strengthen this muscle. Find a quiet place. Close your eyes and move your attention slowly through the body, like sunlight passing over a field. Name one sensation at each stop: warmth, tightness, lightness, without judgment. Then ask one simple question, aloud or inside. What do I need to know right now? Hold the posture of waiting. Do not try to manufacture an answer. Notice the first impression: an image, a tone, a posture, a small physical nudge, and write it down. That first impulse is rarely elaborate. It is the voice of your inner compass. Try this for 7 days and observe how the impressions grow less timid. This journey is not about becoming louder or more certain. It's about becoming more available to subtle guidance. In that availability, your decisions stop needing frantic proof, and a new trust begins to unfold. When your life feels urgent and overwhelmed, what would it mean to become quieter, to let the small signals lead you? You did it. You stayed. You listened, and you met a quieter part of yourself. That matters. Deeply, take a moment to feel that, a small, steady glow inside that recognizes what you already suspected, that there is an inner language waiting to be read. You are not a passive receiver of life. You are the translator. Every subtle imprint you felt during this journey, a sudden image, a tiny tug in the chest, an odd clarity that arrived between tasks, are syllables of your own soul speaking. Celebrate that. This is not accidental. The fact that you are here now means you are being called to trust those impressions more often, to let them direct small choices until they become the compass for larger ones. If something in this video shifted you, write it down now. Leave a single word in the comments. Yes, if a thread of truth woke up. Or share one short line about what you want to learn next. When you do, you help weave a quiet map for others. Your note becomes a beacon. We are a small constellation of seekers, each light connected. You are not alone on this path. You belong to this growing circle of curious hearts. Let me give you a simple way to seal what you've received. Place your hand over your sternum. Close your eyes for 30 seconds and offer one honest sentence to yourself. Perhaps I will notice, or I trust this feeling. Say it softly, without needing to believe it fully yet. The body remembers the tone of this promise more quickly than the mind does. Make that a tiny ritual tonight before sleep. It's not a fix, it's a promise of attention. And attention is the soil where intuition roots. If something in you resists, skepticism, fear, or tiredness, honor that too. Resistance is information. Ask it kindly what it wants you to know, and listen without argument. Often, the first reply will be tender and small. A warmth, a tightness, a color. These are valid answers. Record them. Over time, the patterns become a faithful vocabulary. Share one short story below of a time you followed a subtle cue and it mattered, even if it was small. Stories are the bridges between seekers. They teach more than doctrine. If you're comfortable, tell us how it felt in your body. If you're not ready, simply drop a heart or a yes. Both are sacred. If you found this message nourishing, consider liking and subscribing. It helps these conversations find other quiet souls who are still learning to hear. More importantly, it keeps this community alive, a gentle, steady field where we practice together. Go gently now. Walk into the rest of your day as if you carry a small lantern inside. It does not need to flood the world, only to show the next step. Trust the soft signals. Tend them with patience and curiosity. You are being taught in whispers, and you are learning to listen. Keep shining your light. Remain present. Breathe and absorb this energy in gratitude.